Good morning. It's Councillor Glen here. Today I'm on Henry Goulbourn Street. It's one of the streets in the areas that was hit very badly during the storm. So many streets in our community. It's hard to just pick one area and say it was the hardest hit, but there's a number of streets in this area still without power. I hope everyone's okay this morning. It was a week ago now that the storm hit, and obviously it's been quite a week. I'd like to start this morning with some thank yous. I thought that'd be a good place to start. I want to say a big thank you to my team. I've got 6 people on my team. I've got Amélie, Catherine, Jordan, Isabel, Tracy, Aline. Did I get everybody? This is a problem when you say thanks. I'm always worried I'm going to forget somebody. Catherine, Jordan, Amélie, Isabel, Tracy, Aline. Good, that's my 6. A big thank you to my team. They've been working non-stop this week to help the community out. I want to say a big thank you to volunteers. We had 50 people this week help us out delivering flyers to some of the most affected streets. So thank you to volunteers. We were in such a rush. I didn't get everybody's names. So if you helped out, thank you. We really appreciate it. You helped support and give some well-needed encouragement to residents in our community. Thank you. I also have helpers in the office this week. I wanted to give my office staff some time off this weekend. So we've got some volunteers manning our phones, manning our office this weekend. So thank you to you. A huge thank you to city staff, to the Salvation Army, to the Red Cross. They've all been very involved in the relief effort here. And a big thank you to Hydro Ottawa. Coincidentally, there is a Hydro Ottawa truck here right now. I know Hydro Ottawa's got a lot of criticism for communication, even some people criticizing them for working too slowly. If anything, I think Hydro Ottawa deserves a huge round of applause. They have been working through an incredible scale of destruction to equipment. They've brought in help from across Ontario, across Canada, really. I ran into a worker from Halifax who was here yesterday. So if you see someone from Hydro, give them their distance and work, but give them a big thumbs up, give them a round of applause. They are working so hard to bring power back. Now let's talk about power. So there are 11 streets in Stittsville that I'm aware of that still do not have power. So let me see. It is Lazy Knoll in Fringewood. It is Harton Street and John Woods, just north of Hazeldean Road. The Ultramar gas station is out. Other streets are more located in the community that I'm in now. So Henry Goulbourn, parts of Turtleback, Norway Spruce, part of Bray, although we did have some homes on Bray come back on last night. We've got, let's see, we've got Bobcat, we've got White Cedar, we've got Cordukes, we've got Crabtree. I think that's the 11 streets without power. Here comes the hydro truck right now. Thank you. Hi. Thank you very much. This is not my house. I'm the city councillor. How's it going on this end of the street? You're taking a tree down? Okay. Yeah. Do you know how many are still out here in this part of Henry Goulbourn? Yeah, yeah. So this is where you're working today? And it's trees? And it's trees on wires and so on? Okay, okay. Yeah, I was there yesterday. Yeah, yeah. And what's your name? Sean. Thank you for everything you're doing on behalf of the community. Really very much appreciated. You're from Richmond. Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you very much. Okay, great, thank you. Well, there you go. The live update there from technician at Hydro Ottawa. They're going to be working in this area, Henry Goulbourn, Turtleback, Norway Spruce, and the streets that run off of those. Still several homes without power. They're working on taking trees down and making sure there's no obstructions on the wires. So in about 30 minutes here, they're going to be doing a lot of work. Anyways, great to bring you that update. As I was saying, lots of people without power. This is day 7 without power. By any measure, this is an incredibly long time to be without power. It is an emergency. You know, last Saturday when the storm hit, that was an emergency on its own, just to make sure that we were getting trees out of the way, and the incredible cleanup that continues. The challenge right now is there's so many people in Ottawa who are without power. There's 19,000 people in Ottawa without power right now. That's unprecedented to have people without power for an entire week at that scale, and it's all over the city. And also just outside in the rural areas. You know, we talk about Stittsville, and my Stittsville ward is really the urban, suburban part of Stittsville, but there's so many people in the surrounding rural areas who are without power as well, so let's not forget about them. There's a lot of people who are really struggling, and in the rural area without power, you may not be able to get water, or you've got your well water, your septic, and so on. That's an incredibly dangerous situation. So we're keeping Cardell Rec, the emergency center at Cardell Rec, open Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Anyone who needs a shower or a place to recharge, we will welcome you there. There'll be folks from my office there who can answer questions as well. We're just rooting for all these homes without power in our community. 11 streets, so several dozen families without power. We're just rooting for your power to come back, and as we just heard, Hydro Ottawa is in the area working hard to make sure the lines are clear and they can restore power. So that's excellent news. This ongoing cleanup is continuing. You know, drive down just about any street in every neighborhood in Stittsville, and you will see trees that we've lost. You will see branches piling up on the sides of the road. The city will pick that up. We've got city trucks, the trucks that we usually use for snow clearing, with the big yellow buckets in the back that's used for road salt. These are going around in a kind of a convoy, the good kind of truck convoy, going around our neighborhoods, and there's a big vehicle with a claw on it that it's like one of those arcade games, the claw games, and it picks up these massive piles of branches and puts it in the back of the truck. So they're going around our community. This is work that's going to take not days, but probably weeks. I was watching them on Norway Spruce and Henry Goulbourn the other day. They can just get down a few blocks before they need to bring in more trucks. It's incredibly slow work, so please be patient. Leave your items out on the side of the road. If you can, please separate branches and so on from other waste. I know people have lost fencing or barbecues or gazebos. Try to keep those separate, because it'll be some separate trucks and pickup and collection coming along. But this will take some time to clean up, so we appreciate your patience on that. If you have spoiled food, today is your last chance to bring it over to the bin at Cardell Rec on Shea Road. We've got a big dumpster bin there. You can put your spoiled food waste. I'll remind you again, please take your packaging, your bottles, your plastic out of there. You can put it in a plastic bag, but we really want to keep that as organic waste so we can compost as much of it as possible. That bin's being removed sometime later today, so best to go this morning if you can. Maybe I'll talk about, it's going to be a really long update today, that's okay. Talk about where I was when all this hit. I was meeting up with my friend Banked at the Legion. We had just walked into the Legion and power went out. It must have been about 3:30, 3:40, and we could just hear the wind and the rain howling outside, so we decided to leave and got into our vehicles and realized right away it was a bad situation. We could see branches and debris on Stittsville Main Street. I added, I tweeted out that please stay off the roads, and we're trying to get more information. I headed back home. I had no power, I had no internet, even my cell and my data service was not functioning properly. And so I pulled out, I have an emergency manual as a councillor that I have from the City of Ottawa, and I started flipping through it, and there's a paragraph there that says, if you've experienced extreme weather like a tornado, please call this number. So I called the number, which was a connection, direct connection to the Emergency Operations Center, but they couldn't hear me because I was calling on my cell and the reception was so bad. Eventually I was able to reach someone there by text, and they directed me to the fire station 81 on Stittsville Main Street, and they said they have a generator there, they've got power, and they've got internet. So that's where I went to, Now on my way there though, there were detours on Stittsville, Maine because we had wires down. So I took a detour down, I think Liard Street or Cherry Drive, I forget the route, and that's when I realized the scale of destruction of this storm. That area in particular, behind the fire station, Cherry Drive, Liard, Caribou, Carleton Cathcart, Sunray Park, all those surrounding streets, some massive destruction. Basswood Drive as well. Almost every home had lost at least one tree and many of them multiple trees. But what I also saw was incredible community spirit. This is about 45 minutes, maybe an hour after the storm by that time when I was walking through, and there were whole crews of neighbors out with chainsaws checking in to make sure people were safe. Volunteer firefighters were knocking on doors in those communities just to check up, make sure people were okay and offer assistance. And I remember running into an older woman on Liard Street, I think it was, and she was in remarkably positive spirits for what had happened. She had lost 4 or 5 trees. Her shed was uprooted, but she said she wanted me to let the community know that she has the best neighbors, that Stittsville has the best neighbors, and it's that kind of spirit that I saw all over the place throughout the week. We all pitched in and we all worked together to help each other out, and super proud to see that in our community. And there's some really hard cases. I mentioned a few of the streets. Woodhurst over off of Westridge, some significant damage, some broken windows, some major water damage. There's people who are temporarily out of their homes because of the damage there. So a lot of people really severely affected. And of course the power outage. We had people without power for 4, 5, 6 days, and in this area and a few others 7 days. That's a long time to be without power. I mentioned earlier our volunteers, so we've been going to some of these affected streets, especially the ones that are still without power, and just checking in. I'm really concerned especially about older people in our community or more vulnerable people in our community, and we have found a few people who do need help. Most people have friends, family, and neighbors helping them out, but there's a few folks in our community who don't have that support, and I am glad we have identified them and connected them with the help that they need. So thank you again to volunteers. You know what, thank you to every neighbor. So many of you have checked in on your fellow neighbors. Thank you if you've been checking in and supporting. It's hugely appreciated. I'm still concerned about a lot of trees that have been damaged or that are hanging a little bit precariously. Anytime that wind comes up, I get really worried. A reminder, if you're on trails or in our parks, there's still a lot of damaged trees that have yet to be cleaned up. The priority in Ottawa right now is making sure we're getting power back onto people, but in the coming days that focus will shift to cleaning up our parks and our trails. But just be super careful going underneath or near any damaged trees, and remind your kids as well. Like I was at Joe Louis Park yesterday. There's a number of parks, Alexander Grove, Sunray, all sorts of parks in our community where there is extensive damage. Remind your kids to be super careful. Don't play on trees that have fallen down or that are leaning. There is a lot of damage and a lot of hazard out there. The city's actually organizing a volunteer cleanup effort. If you go to my website, glengower.ca, you will see information about how you can register to be a volunteer. There's 2 ways to do that. There's one organization called Samaritan's Purse that we are partnering with for some of the heavier work that needs to be done with tree removal. This is for people 16, 17, 18 years old and up. You can sign up, so please see my website for information. The city's also launched something called Cleaning the Capitol After the Storm. It's like our Cleaning the Capitol, but we're asking neighbors to pitch in and help clean up a local park. You know, there's a lot of branches and debris around. We're not asking necessarily to take a chainsaw out at local parks, not at all. But if you can help with some of that basic park cleanup, we would really appreciate it. Again, go to my website or ottawa.ca for information there. You know, this week my team, I got to thank my team again. Thank them at the start. We're thanking them again. They actioned 200 emails, plus voicemails, drop-in requests, messages. These are actual actionable things, like the person who needs assistance with a tree, or letting us know about a tree on a wire. And that's above and beyond all of the regular message we were getting with casework and so on, and the many messages of encouragement and support and thanks. So thank you, residents, for that. It really kept our team going this week, and we really appreciate it. And a number of you have asked about me. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. I got power back on Wednesday morning. I'm fine. My family's fine. My parents got power back on Thursday evening quite late over in Barrhaven. That's good. With power out at my place and internet out for the first 3 nights of this, I had no distractions at night, so I was able to get to bed at 9 o'clock or so and got a good night's sleep. And I even heard the train whistle down in the train to Richmond with all the silence and quiet in the neighborhood. But thank you. I appreciate all the check-ins, and actually a thank you to Sector Chief Tom Miller with Station 81. He's been in touch with me daily, sometimes twice or 3 times a day during this. Big thank you, and he's been checking in on me too. So thank you, Tom, for your support in our community and all of your volunteer firefighters. Can I switch gears right now? I really want to talk. We are starting to look towards next week and non-storm, non-cleanup things. So mostly event related. So here we go. May 31st, we have our community meeting on 6310 Hazeldean Road. This is the proposal for an apartment building on Hazeldean between Westridge and Carp, across from the Sobeys, across from the Farm Boy, backs onto Crossing Bridge. That's May 31st, registration on my website. June 4th, we're doing a councillor chat. It'll be 10 a.m. Saturday morning next to Ritual on the Trailhead, soon to be renamed Bradley Square, on Stittsville Main Street, just south of Abbott Street. So that's next Saturday. I'll see you there. June 5th is Arts in the Park, hosted by Stittsville Village Association. June 4th and 5th is Doors Open Ottawa. In Ottawa, we've got some Stittsville buildings participating. June 6th is the annual Volunteer Awards. That's Monday night. You can register on my website. Go to glengower.ca. June 25th, we're hosting our multicultural showcase called Welcome to Stittsville. We're still looking for participants, so if you or your family or your community group want to show off your culture, your art, your music, your food, your dance, whatever it might be, we'd love to have you participate at that event. Please contact my office, glen.gower@ottawa.ca. Blossomfest, I should mention, that was last Sunday. In the midst of all of this, thank you to Mandy and all your volunteers for organizing a super successful Blossomfest. I know you were struggling with the decision to go ahead or not, but I'm glad you did, giving people a welcome distraction and something to do with the power off on Sunday. We had to postpone our Lee Boltwood Park naming ceremony yesterday. We're going to announce a new date soon. And finally, a big good luck to everyone who is participating in Ottawa Race Weekend this weekend. I know we have a lot of runners here in the Stittsville community, so good luck with that. Weather's pretty good today, and I hope you get some good weather tomorrow as well. I'm going to wrap it up there. My updates this weekend will be a little more infrequent. I'm going to try to take a bit of a break and recharge and get back at it full strength on Monday. But like I said, my team and my volunteers are checking phone messages, answering phones, checking the emails. So if there's anything at all we can help with, 613-580-2476 is the number. glen.gower@ottawa.ca is the email, or drop into our ward office at Cardell Rec, 1500 Shea Road, and we also have, of course, the Welcome Center there if you need a warm shower or internet. I think this is the longest Saturday morning update I've ever done, but it's been a long week and there's lots to tell you about. So take care, please enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and to folks without power, we are rooting for you. We are trying to get information from Hydro Ottawa about restoration times, but like we heard earlier in this video, they are working on it, and I really hope you have your power back on soon. Take care and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.